game. Now, it was, well, we really hadn't talked about the game.
Yeah, we can go into it. Right, hold on, let me talk about Georgia right quick. We'll get into
Yeah, since you're talking about Georgia, go ahead.
All right, Georgia players, they're losing for sure. That are moving on. I'm talking about just their foregoing their senior year would be Kobe Dean, Lewis Sign, who was the MVP of the championship game, James Cook, Zamir White, George Pickens, and they also lose 2 linemen. That's a lot to lose.
Yeah, they had
a lot to lose.
9 seniors on defense and 6 on offense.
You said something about Georgia repeating. I wouldn't think they would have any chance to repeat. But they did win it the other night. But, I mean, it just depends on what happens with this transfer portal. Who knows? They may have a bunch of studs come in.
Yeah, you just don't know.
But losing their backfield and Dean and Sign and the lineman, Pickens, it's your best receiver. Well, Bowers is probably your best receiver. He can't go anywhere yet. No, I don't think they'll be as good, of course, but we'll go over our top 10 in a little bit. But what do you think about the game the other night? It was a field goal. Classic, wasn't it?
It was a field goal game, and it ended up being a 5-point game. Now, it got away from Bryce throws a pick 6 down there, but basically
a touchdown game, yeah.
Yes, that's about, and I got it wrote down. This is kind of what we did before the game. We figured on Bama scoring a little more. We had 35-31 Georgia, and that's just kind of what this is just proof. Y'all watched us make this bracket.
Yeah, and that's what they had to score to win.
Yes, we had Georgia winning 35-31. Now, Alabama didn't make it to 31, so let's talk about why did they not make it 31? Well, Kirby changed the defensive line scheme up.
I thought the defense played very good for Georgia.
Different team. Completely different team. Davis comes out, he plays most of the game, and he is just getting after it. He is owning the offensive line up front. Now, Bama has right guards and right tackles moved, so they kept pressing, you remember, that right side of our line.
Right.
And they knew where the weakness was. So they would run right at that right side to Bryce's right, which had been Georgia's left. They blitzed that side all night long. And Bryce made a decision that he was not going to step up to left in the pocket to make a throw downfield. He decided, I'm going to roll out right into the cut pressure all night long. So the keys takeaways from the game.
It was a good game plan.
One, hats off to Georgia for having a good game plan, and Kirby coming out and saying, hey, that's not going to happen again. We're going to change that.
Yeah.
And hats off to CN, which is he's leaving too.
Wow.
He played a fantastic game, which not taking that away from Dean, but he played a fantastic game too.
Right.
And the things that we said needed to happen, pick 6, it happened. A fumble on the play, a takeaway, Dean up the sideline. We predicted it in our Nostradamus that we do. Joey the Fish moments. We're going to Vegas. That happened too. So those weird things that needed to happen did happen, and they block a kick too.
Yes, they did block a kick.
All the things that we said. Here's the only way that Georgia beats Bama would be if these things happen. And we couldn't predict losing their best receiver in the nation going out in the second quarter. He had 4 catches for 65 yards. So he could have been on track to have 10 catches for 100.5.
Yeah, it hurt. Well, I mean, it just didn't have to defend as hard.
That now changes the game to where when you don't have a deep ball threat, now you're putting in these freshmen. Well, it changes the game plan of what plays you're going to do. So Alabama tries to do what we usually do, and that's run the ball. However, we do not have an elite running back. We do not have a Cook, White, 2-headed monster running back like Georgia has.
Sanders is okay. Robinson's good, but Cook and White combined are better than Sanders and Robinson. And I thought Robinson played fantastic.
For me, it's 5-star to 3-star difference, them two. Combine those two, Cook and White are 5 stars together, and Robinson and Sanders are 2 or 3 stars together. Bama can't run the ball. They don't have elite tailbacks anymore. They just don't.
30 yards.
They just don't. They're just not there. They hadn't really all year. Their game plan has always been throw the ball down the field to Meachie Williams, like last year.
Yeah.
Don't worry about playing great defense. You really don't have to, because we're going to score 40.
Right.
That's how Bama's been playing, probably since Jalen's been there. So those are my takeaways now. I'll go on the Georgia side, then I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
Georgia side, what I just said, Cook,
Cook and White.
And White, they really cooked it up. They come out after halftime. Georgia said what we said, and I said at halftime, I said Georgia's going to have to start running the ball to pull away in this game to set up the play action, the throws down the field. That's what they did. They come out and run the ball. They busted a big 60-yard run with
7-yard.
Was it Cook?
That was really the turning point.
Was it Cook that had the big run?
Cook.
He has the big run, and Dean predicted him to have a good game and catch some out of the backfield, and he did.
Right.
And he did.
I mostly predicted him to be. He did good, but not in the way I predicted. I thought he might hurt us
Catching the ball.
But he had a 67-yard run.
Well, now here's the thing. Bama just was trash. They just couldn't stop the run. The Georgia Bulldog just kind of run that down. They run all over them. Well, let me tell you, when you take away that 60-yard run, Georgia averaged, I think, 2.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
With that big run, they averaged about 4 yards or 4.5 yards a carry. So that's not true. I'm sorry. I mean, Georgia.
Well, Georgia didn't just.
Georgia won.
They ran good when they had to.
They won the game.
Yeah.
And they deserved to win the game. They were the better team that night.
Mm-hmm.
That one big play, you have to take in consideration and be realistic. Now.
Well, Georgia rushed for 150, 140 yards.
Just enough to keep them honest.
67.
Now I'm going to move to Stetson Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
He did a good job at controlling the game.
He did.
He didn't start out good. He fumbles the ball and it bounces back in his hand. They got lucky there.
Right.
And he just did enough to win the game. And he let his coaches do the work and let his defense win them the game. That's that. I mean, and people kind of got offended. I've been on Facebook talking to people about that and kind of said that. And people kind of take offense that I'm saying Georgia won because of their defense. Why? Dude, do you know how many years Kirby Smart's defense won national championships at Alabama? How many years?
Alabama had to kick 4 field goals.
How many times, Dean, did Alabama's defense win games when Kirby was at Alabama?
12, 9.
All those games. We're talking about Texas, the LSU games, all those games, the national championship games come from the hands of Kirby Smart, and that's what Georgia looks like. Guess what? Who's the coach at Georgia? Kirby Smart. That's why it looks like an old Alabama team, because that's what they do. They play defense. They run the ball somewhat to keep you honest, but they're going to hit you with a play action. And Stetson Bennett made 4 fantastic throws.
He did.
All he needed to do, he throwed up a 50-50 ball against some freshman corners, and the ball went both ways. They were covered well, and the boys Pickens made that big catch down the middle of the field.
That was a great play.
Fantastic catch. They throw up 50-50 balls. He's
the end one in the end zone.
Different.
Covered good.
Yes, he was all over him like a full blanket on a half bed. That's it.
And I think the takeaway from the game was obviously Cook and White's running. They were able to make some good runs late.
Yeah, that's after halftime. They come out and said, "We're going to run the ball now."
Well, see, he had a 67-yard run in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, when Georgia was up 19-18, Cook had 40 yards on that drive. Just, getting 4 here, then 4 here, then 4 here. He ran hard. But I think the big takeaway I have, and I'll give this, was Monken on that one drive where he just said, "The heck with it. Bennett's going to throw deep every play."
Yeah, why not? I mean,
it worked.
You can see the weakness.
Because you had pass interference, you had a big play, he completed 1 on the first down, he gained about 15. Then they had the deep ball down the field, interference. And then he chunks it to the end zone, touchdown. Very aggressive drive. And to me, that was just a big drive.
Job, the presence of a leader out there put him in a bad spot. And
he took advantage.
Georgia recognized it, like as well as when Alabama recognized weaknesses on Notre Dame when they had Te'o, supposed to have been the greatest thing coming since.
Right. He ran right at him.
And he run right at him, and Eddie Lacy made him look like a joke. And
Te'o played in the pros for a while.
And Colt McCoy, Texas game, he comes out. Well, they put in new quarterbacks, so they get after him.
They got after
the game changer in the Rose Bowl is Eric Anders blindsiding the guy and knocking the ball out of his hand. That was the game changer in that game because he took advantage of a young quarterback situation.
And that's what Monken did on that drive.
So congratulations, Georgia. They had their little parade thing, I think, today. They put up their flag for 2021 champs, and it's something that's been coming for a long time. Now,
I've expected them to win one.
Here's a question.
Year and next. I've been saying that since 17. I figure the next 10 years they won one.
Can they repeat? they've got the recruiting classes. Kirby's been 1, 2, 3, 6 1 year, so he's they got the kids in there. I don't think they can repeat.
I think they lost too much power.
No, Auburn. So we're moving from the title game. So the last thing, we congratulate them on a good win.
Congratulations.
I mean, it was. And
if Alabama can't win it, I'm proud to see you.
Absolutely. Kirby, hey, more power to him.
Right.
And Mitchell.
I like the Georgia players. I like Zamir White, Nakobe did.
We was high on him. I mean, we watched them come out of high school. We've talked about them for years.
I was wrong. I didn't think he could beat Alabama, but he did a good job.
He had his 4 big plays. Now, if Michie and Williams plays, and this is not fair, he shouldn't play that card.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but we can't play the if game. Yeah, if they play the 2 best receivers in the nation, we don't know.
But that's
the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
And to have a banged up young team that Todd, and if guys, you can go back, podcast people, go back. In the summer, we had Georgia playing for the national championship, not Alabama. We did not have Alabama winning the conference because we knew with the coaches and the kids that had left, there's no way Bama makes it in. There's no way. So
young.